History in Washington today. The Senate has acquitted President Trump on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. CBS reporter Natalie Brand is on Capitol Hill with the end to the impeachment drama.
This was not your typical vote. Senators had to read their verdict out loud, guilty or not guilty. And all Senate Democrats, including California's, voted to convict on both articles. All Republicans but one voted to acquit on abuse of power. Obstruction of Congress fell strictly along party lines.
He is hereby acquitted of the charges in said articles.
The Senate voted to acquit President Trump on two charges, abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, wrapping up a nearly 3-week-long impeachment trial.
This was a thoroughly political exercise from the beginning to the end.
The Senate turned its back on the truth, on a fair trial.
All Senate Democrats voted to convict President Trump on both articles. They were joined by just one Republican, Utah's Mitt Romney, on the abuse of power charge.
Corrupting an election to keep oneself in office is perhaps the most abusive and destructive violation of one's oath of office that I can imagine.
The Trump campaign called the verdict total vindication.
After months of a sham investigation, a partisan impeachment, it's over, America.
While the president's approval numbers have hit a new high, bitter division here in Congress has hit a low, and the fallout could threaten cooperation on even bipartisan issues.
I think we've got a chance to do some more business. I certainly hope so.
Some Republicans share that optimism.
It's time for friendship for a change.
Democrats are less convinced.
That we couldn't find any common ground on the path that this took from the very first day to the very last concerns me gravely.
Some Democrats are pushing to censure the president, but so far that's not gained traction in the Republican-controlled Senate.
Senator Dianne Feinstein's office says she supports Senator Manchin's proposal for censure. On her guilty vote today, she said the House managers proved their case. The president, meanwhile, tweeted that he will be making a public statement from the White House tomorrow at noon Eastern. On Capitol Hill, I'm Natalie Brand, KPIX 5.
House Democrats say investigations into the Trump administration will continue. In a statement, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said, quote, by suppressing the evidence and rejecting the most basic elements of a fair judicial process, the Republican Senate made themselves willing accomplices to the president's cover-up. Senator Kamala Harris tweeting this, quote, we've just witnessed a miscarriage of justice on the floor of the United States Senate.
Acquitted for life.
On the flip side, House Minority Leader California's Kevin McCarthy tweeted this video of himself ripping up papers saying acquitted for life. Of course, a play on House Speaker Pelosi ripping up her copy of the president's State of the Union last night.